Alrighty, we are back with another game of the Matador Files. Alright, that's enough of that. In the left-hand corner of the map, it is El Matador. And in the right-hand corner of the map, it is none other than Speedy McSpeedy, Keto, Severo Jones, Bones, the 69th. So this is, for those of you just tuning in right now, this is us going through some of Matador's training games for the tournament. This is something that I've been wanting to do since day one, with basically anyone who was willing to. I know Mr. did actually send me some recorded games for some of the early tournaments after they've concluded, but unfortunately patches came and they became null and void and I could not watch them. And a couple of other people have done the same thing, and it always seems to happen that there's just a patch that happens just after the tournament concludes, and then all of the games get nulled, and I cry. But that's why we're doing this right now. It's one day after the tournament. They can't beat me because I'm going to do it immediately. Doom, 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 doom. Okay. So, cool. We've got Matador here playing as Thor and Keto. For those of you who don't know, Keto doesn't play tournaments. He doesn't like the scheduled nature of them. And he has other reasons. He just wants to play the game for fun. But I think Keto is arguably one of, if not the best, Chinese player currently playing. Probably close to Kavoth. And at the very least, they're in the same sort of sentence as players to watch for how to play China in a very, very optimal way. So Matador playing against Keto here is really, really good practice for Matador, I'm sure. As we do have copper shields coming in and all the other good stuff. But this is just going to be a nice little game. We'll see what's happening. I imagine here that Keto, I don't know if these are training games. So you have to imagine that Keto is going to be going for like the maximum amount of, how do I put it? The maximum amount of abuse is probably the wrong word, but like the best possible strategies he can come up with. Because this is what you're going to see in the tournament. You're not going to see a player going like some weird thing, like going for like a how-to fast second town center, semi-fast mythic sort of idea here. You're going to see the Shennong player probably go for Yatsa, probably go one town center, probably try to shove it down the throat of the Norse player and make their life a living hell. And the goal here for the Norse player is to prove that that strategy does not work. Or at the very least, prove that they can defend it with whatever they need to do. Now, from what I've heard from players behind the scenes, I think pretty much everyone agrees that this is very, very tough to deal with. But of everyone that was playing against it, one of the players that was the best at dealing with it was Matador. So it'll be interesting to see how he's going to come up with it. What he's going to come up with, how he's going to go dealing with this one. As the boar's getting dragged in, and we are seeing Chi Yo. Not really all too many Yatsa coming through just yet. Or not Yatsa, Pioneers, just the two Pioneers, it looks like. So these things here, just going to be grabbing relics. Big advantage for China over Norse. Norse is the worst at picking up relics. So big advantage for China over Norse is that you can grab all the relics. So if you want to play for them, you can. And you can get a good advantage in some games and less of a good advantage in other games. Unless you do the suit build order with Loki and go for like a 6-minute advance time, get yourself some early Herser out to grab all the relics on the map. That works too. But we do see the walls coming up now. The Yatsa on the way to some degree. Did he build one? Did he get another Qualfu? Did I miss something? Maybe? Not exactly sure what Keto's going for. Maybe he is going for a town center. I mean, to some degree. And this is like, oh, he's got 2 Yatsa, that's why. No, but he would have got one for free. That's why he's got 2. Okay, so he pops in, checks things out, sees the walls, and gets himself Son of Lung. As the Great Halls are up, and I mean, this building placement is what makes Matador like really good against this sort of stuff. Like, he gets the Great Halls, he gets the walls, he's got back gold, he's got a back forest, he's got food on the back of his town center as well. Everything is back. He's going to go for these 4 chicken here, and if you're playing this as the China, you can just keep floating in those balloons, and if you see the villagers here, now we just send Yatsa in to get damage in. But we are going to be seeing that Keto says, time for a town center. So he's going to go for this forward one. To be honest, I think this is more of a playstyle thing from Keto. I don't know how much they played this, but if this is me playing this game and I see forward berries and I see forward chickens against Norse, I am going to go 1 town center. I am going to kill this with fire archers and halberdier and Yatsa. And then I'm going to push you off this. And then all of a sudden you have to get onto your goats and you're going to be stuck in the classical age. And then being stuck in the classical age, you have to go for a second gold mine. It's going to be very tough for you to deal with it. But Keto goes for the town center. And we'll see how this all goes. There's a longhouse to come down. And one idea here for Keto and for players playing against Norse as well is to come through and just kill off these animals. Make sure your opponent doesn't get access to the favor. Whenever you're playing against Norse, it's free favor. Or if you're ever playing against Norse, killing off animals is free favor. It's definitely worth doing it. And you can actually see this is sort of what Matador's doing up at the top, killing off these caribou here. And the Yatsa come through. Unfortunately for Keto, he doesn't quite manage to pick off a unit here. But he will start getting some significant damage if these raiding cavalry are going to sit here for too long. And with 2, the funny thing is here is with two town centers, now you get even more Yatsa out. But it looks like Keto is playing. I'm surprised it looks like he's actually playing ethical to some degree. he's to some degree playing. He's getting the quail out. He's getting his economy going. And I'm sure he's going to start pumping out more of these Yatsa a little bit later. We do see a second town center for Matador. So all the raids get shut down, gets 0 damage done. Watchtowers comes through. These Yatsa are out to defend. The only real way that I've seen so far for Norse to actually get raids is with Hursa. So if you go through Forseti, and obviously Thor has Forseti. If you go through Forseti, you make yourself a whole bunch of Hursa. You can get in and you can actually get those raids off. Because the Watchtowers, while their crenellations is there, it's not as much damage as if you're playing with the cavalry. So, and also the Yatsa don't have that movement. Well, they can't really deal with the Hursa at all, even though they've got the movement speed. But the rest of the units don't have the movement speed to deal with those Hursa running in. So fire archers have to sit back and be defending rather than be pressuring and killing off buildings. So it does make a little bit of sense there against Shennong to go for Forseti instead of Freya. And now, as both players have decided to handshake agree to a second town center, it's going to take a little bit for everything to start going. And yeah, I think we're not going to see a whole lot for a while here. And you've even got the halberdiers in the right spot. There's pretty much nothing I think that Matador can do. And I think there's almost nothing here that Keto can do as well. I mean, he's getting these raids with the Chongqi. Realistically, this probably shouldn't be happening. Matador should have his have a Hursa in his base to say, get out of here. Villagers coming up to the top. This could be some dead units here as the Yatsa come through. Matador not paying attention. Keto does get a villager there, and he will be able to retreat out afterwards. So nice find there from Keto. As the villagers to move up onto the gold now that the special is gone. Nope, never mind. That's another villager down. I lied. I thought all 3 of them used it, he says. I did too. Oh god, I hate this unit. I can't be... I don't think there's been a unit I've hated more than this one. I think I've actually liked pretty much every myth unit. Which is the Wadjet. The Wadjet was the other unit that I really didn't like because it was beating up on Valkyrie and things like that, right? Like the Wadjet had the stats that the Wadjet had were just like too much DPS for a ranged unit, and I was like, this isn't okay. Shouldn't be doing this much DPS to myth units. This unit shouldn't be doing this much. I like the Wadjet now though. I still use it. It's good. That's mine. Yeah. Anyways. Cheeky little Great Hall coming up. There's a raiding cavalry up the top here. Going to be looking for a bit of an entry into the main base. There's no crenellations in, but a couple of sky lanterns. And it does seem to me that Chinese players more so than everyone else are kind of forgetting to put walls down. I think that this sort of house placement is just not... I just don't think it's necessary. Like... Maybe if the favor gather rate for the Chinese was different, I would start to think this. But the more I play China, the more I realize what matters isn't this, right? What matters is blocking my base in, ignoring the move, like the extra, like not trying to min max the favor gain, but just building like I build with everyone else, and then spamming and then putting my ballets in the right spots because the ballets are going to expand a big amount. And then maybe later in the game, I can start thinking about expanding out my stuff. But the main base needs to be very much protected. But I guess maybe it doesn't matter when you're playing against Norse because you actually want them to try it. You're trying to bait the Norse player into entering your base because if you can catch them out with Master of Weaponry, they're going to lose a ton of cavalry. Keto slowly starting to move forward right now. A couple of throwing axemen here. It's going to be sending him home. Rushol and Skadi coming in. I like the Skadi pick here against Shennong because, well, one important thing here is frosting the Frost Giants for the Yatsu to actually be able to kill them. As Keto charges forward. The raiding cavalry are going to be leaving. But yeah, you also can frost the Fey Beast as well. That's just very, very nice. Meanwhile, up to the top. I don't really know why Keto is so far in front. I guess it must be he's only got himself 4 Quaofu. I don't really know why he's so far in front here. Maybe it's just got the town center a bit quicker. Lost a couple of villages. Now, the raiding cavalry running through the main base here. This is something you just kind of can't do unless you've got some sort of healing for your units. Because you're just going to... Like, all of these guys now are basically dead. So, a couple of farms to come down to keep the villagers alive. This guy going to be retreating back. Is he going to get a single villager here? That's great defense from Keto. Really, really nice. No buildings. Just great control. But now the Yatsu are hunting. Does manage to find some villagers here, though. As the Yatsu are coming in. The problem here is, if Matador loses all of these raiding cavalry, which it looks like he's going to here, this is not worth it in the slightest. Oh my god, he basically lost them all. So even though he kills off like 4 villagers, maybe? I don't know how many. Maybe let's be generous and say he kills off 4 villagers. Because he lost 8, I want to say it was 8 cavalry there. Those villagers and these are going to go down as well. Say goodbye. Those go down as well. So 10 cavalry. It's just not worth it. Both players on 2 town center. That raid is just never going to be something that is worth going for. Specifically against these Yatsu, right? I mean, the buildings help out. This is not a building analysis or anything, but the Yatsu, they're completely shut all of that down. So you just can't attack against those. Which leaves you the question, like, should we actually ever be building raiding cavalry versus China at the moment? Maybe not. Maybe the actual answer lies somewhere else. Problem is the fire archers are so effective that what are you supposed to build? Hostile, obviously. Maybe the idea here should be grab town center. No, because you get blown to pieces by fire archers. It's just so bad. Okay. Okay, Mythic Age coming through. This is actually really, really quick. Mythic Age. Ooh. Hello, Frost Giant. A little bit of a miscontrol there from Keto as he loses a Yahtzee. Generally speaking, these Yahtzee don't die unless there's some sort of a misplay from the Yahtzee user. There is a couple of weird bugs with them where they'll decide that they can't make a move, so then they'll reset and then they'll randomly do a special onto a Herser and then die. But for the most part, these guys should not die. Prosperous seeds. At the moment, 3 town centers to 2 town centers. But I mean, is the 3rd town center ever the correct play here? Like, you want it to be. It makes sense for it to be. Like, you're claiming more of the map and all that other good stuff, but... I guess the other problem here is from the side of Matador. He's had to play defense all game, but at what point does his army actually get to a stronger position, to a stronger level than the Shennong army? And I don't think it ever does. As soon as Huang Di comes in, which obviously he's hit this first, then all of a sudden this town center not existing doesn't matter because he's going to get this tech, Leiju's Silk or whatever it's called. This one gives HP. And then he gets this tech over here, which makes the Dao Swordsman cheaper. He gets the okay, the Yinglong comes through, going to kill everything. But there is still a Frost tier available. As Keto, as ever, he never overcommits. He's always very, very careful. There's no need for him to do anything. This is my point, because you just don't lose this late game. It'll be interesting to see if a Ragnarok can break through Keto, though. Because Keto here, he's got double bow laydown onto the gold mine. Over onto this side, he's got himself 4,000 gold here as well. Up onto this side, we see the Yahtzee just roaming around, getting all sorts of value, running straight into a Herser, taking 2 whacks and getting away. It's frustrating. Recon says, I don't know how to select it whilst it's flying in. You do this. Take a look at my cursor. If you can't work it out, you don't deserve to know. I'm kidding. It's select all on screen. Select all on screen. Hotkey. There you go. And that works for the Nidhogg. It works for the Titan. It works for any unit's animation when it spawns out of a building. Like you can do it on like a Minotaur spawning out of your temple to get it in a little bit more. As the Yinglong is taking a hefty amount of damage, the Qinglong also in. As we've also got now Imperial Orders. This is the big tech. This is the tech that makes it so that Shennong doesn't care that he's behind a little bit in economy. Because now his Dao Swordsmen are only costing 24 food, 44 gold. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that that Matador is in front by a little bit. There is also still Fey Beasts and Lightning Weapons remaining, so some huge power spikes for Keto here, as well as 73 favor for another Lightning Weapons a little bit later. As the Fey Beasts get dropped down. I don't know exactly why he dropped them back there, but nonetheless. Keto now coming in for the kill. Here, it kind of still looks kind of close to some degree as Matador plays really, really nicely here, keeping himself alive, but he's in the Mythic Age. He's going to want to get full pop first. I wouldn't mind seeing him get a market in the corner and get at least a couple of trade caravans going, probably to this town center for safety. And then he kind of has to go for this Ragnarok play. Get this top position completely secured, wall it all off, and then we're looking at Gold Star once this gold mine expires. This is what you have to hold on for. Once this gold mine expires here, then we go for the Rag. We block off this, then we try and break through this, we break through this, and we try and find a win here. So, can Matador survive here without a Mythic Age God Power is the big question. Fire Giant coming through. Nyan's asking, I don't understand why people don't make trade earlier. Yeah, most people didn't really even realize that trade got buffed. That's the big one. Like, if you didn't realize that trade... Even top players, I remember I said it, and I can't remember who it was, but some top player was like, what, really? Yeah, trade got buffed, so it is really, really good now. You should be going for it early-ish. Not too early, but early-ish. Like around this point in the game is probably a good time to go for it. As Keto continuing to mass spam these units through. Not quite able to break through Matador here. Probably being a little bit overzealous, but he does get set up with the ballet. Walls coming up all across this position now. Securing all of his gold. Legendary Yarlin. Champion Infantry pre-queued, but not going to be coming in for some time. There is a big advantage actually for playing as Norse here with the Dwarven Mines, so there's maybe no real need to go for the Ragnarok super early here, but the problem is, and this is one of the reasons, I want to be proved wrong here, so I'll say it before it happens. I haven't seen the game. The problem here for Norse is, how do you break through this? Obviously you get rams, right? You have to get rams, but then the units will be over here to defend. We'll see if that's going to actually happen. Still no... what's this tech called? I can't remember it. Advanced fortifications. No advanced fortifications, so this is going to be a bit tough. The army wandering down here. Ready to start getting involved. Repairing up the ballet as granulation's coming through. Boiling oil a little bit late from Keto. When Keto comes through, he's going to take down the hill fort very quickly as well. He's also got all those fire archers there. Forest fire to come through. I like that forest fire. He does actually manage to kill off the ballet after some time there with the legendary Jarls. This is looking very, very good for Matador now, though, because I was saying this is the important gold mine. If he can control this, then this is very winnable for the Thor. There's a hill fort to come down. Problem is, can you kill off all these champion Dao swordsmen? Axe card also coming into the mix. Unfortunately for China, the axe card versus the thrown axeman, not the best of ideas. You want to go for ranged siege versus Norse, just to stay away from those thrown axemen if you can. Now, there is 21 villages on gold. The gold mine over here is just about to be expired. Ballet coming up. It's a very tense moment here. I think if Matador reads the situation correctly and clicks Rag, I think he wins. Another lightning weapons to come down, though, as the unit's going to be getting pushed back onto this side. A couple of fire archers trying to take out legendary Jarls. Not quite able to do so, but he does pull back underneath their ballets here. As he charges forward. If he gets Wen Zhong onto the backline, this guy is... He's already dead. Never mind. He had no HP. If he gets onto that backline, though, you have to, like, fan out into spread formation to actually deal with him. As the push there does allow the ballet to come back up. Keto lives another day. And he will get to that gold mine. There is still this opportunity here for Matador to go for this Ragnarok. And he's still getting techs. He's got Dwarven, Meteoric Iron Mail, Dwarven weapons there as well. It's the Fire Archers getting that damage done. Once they get close to the thrown axeman, you basically have to bail out onto that position. I guess to some degree, Seishu's Silk... Oh, is that what it's called? I can't remember. This tech. To some degree, this tech here No, but it's also hack. So this is like 20% HP as opposed to this one, which is an extra 10% HP. So he gets 20% HP versus Norse, whereas the Norse player is going to get 10%. So it's still a big advantage. Is Sons of Slipnir in? I don't know. Looks like it is. Yeah, these guys are doing 2x versus range soldiers. She's actually quite hefty. So the final gold mine going to go. We got seeing the trade route starting. There's plenty of favor in the bank here for Dwarven Mine. But more importantly here, I think, is Frost. A second Frost plus Ragnarok. As Wenzhong comes in, gets a huge amount of damage, but he does get sniped down pretty quickly, though those fire archers are now out in spades. It's looking like the actual numbers aren't quite there for Keto just yet. He's running out of gold. He's up onto this position now. Imperial Academy coming in. I don't know where the market is. He hasn't started. Well, he has got a trade route slowly coming in. Yeah, Matador's got all the resources in the world. He could probably go for a Titan here if he wants to. It's actually wild. I would never expect here that Thor could play for this sort of a late game thing. Heavy Tiger Cav in, though. These are pretty scary as well for the current comp that Matador's going for. A little ballast that come through as well. And the slow siege down onto this location. I mean, he's still getting himself out more of these pick shoes, getting out the mechanical ox caravans, making the trade route go. And Matador is, simply put, just squeezing here. See one of those hill forts getting denied. There's no siege out, though, for Keto. He's getting a couple of those axe carts in. He doesn't have anything in queue, though. That's the problem. So he's going to be losing units and not getting them back out here. As the axe cart to come in. Secrets of the Titans on the way here. And that gold mine to come somewhere on the map. I don't know where he put it in his main base. Lightning weapons getting dropped down yet again. As those Jarls onto the back line here. Keto does have to pull back. He does manage to do so. He's going to be stunning up those legendary Jarls pretty brutally as more champion Tiger Cavalry coming in. Can he break through this amount of building spammage here is the big question. I mean, this gold mine is all things that... This is the only thing that's important right now for Keto. If he can get through the entirety of the gold mine, that gives him enough time to get himself his trade route out. However, Secrets of the Titans is almost... or is now in... A whole bunch of trade has started for Matador. And he just doesn't want to click Rag. I mean, I think... I gotta hope that if Rag can't win in this spot, then I don't know when it can win. But... he would need to get himself out a hefty amount of Rams, I guess, as well. But he does also still have access to another Frost. And now we will start seeing these. This is the siege crossbow. That's what I'm saying. I think you need siege crossbows for China. Taking out the Norse. In general, against Norse, like the melee siege is just not very good. And there you go. Matador gets the dub. Really nice play here from Matador. I thought, like, by everything that I've seen so far is points to the Shennong winning this late game, like, pretty hard. But it seems like Keto just could not take a good fight or something. I don't know. Maybe the Jarls, the Ragnarok, the Baldur Jarls are just that good. And I'm just behind on the meta. So interesting game here for Matador. The only problem here is that I think Keto, he didn't really use like a S tier strategy, so to speak, which is, well, the best strategy here, which would have been to stay one town center and nail down this spot, because this is what like the Thor is not going to be able to defend. Whole bunch of Yatza, whole bunch of Halberdier, whole bunch of Fire Archers. Kill this off, lock off the berries, lock off the chickens, and then force onto goats straight away. I feel like the game is over at like 10 minutes. But even without that, I did expect to see the Shennong winning here. So absolutely wild. No Ragnarok clicked, unfortunately. But well played to Matador. Wild game. This is probably... Did we see Matador picking 4 in tournament at all? Not sure. Anyways. GG. We'll get into the next one.